Today's class clown is a comedian, actor and writer who many of you will know from his roles in The Thick of It, the acclaimed BBC sitcom Rev, and as Archie in the iconic children's series Balamory. He's also popped up on, well, just about every comedy panel show in the country. He's one of the sharpest, funniest men in British comedy. I also consider him a friend. He's one of my favourite comedians. I love this man. It is Miles Jupp. Right. First gig.
12th of March, 2000?
Spring,
yeah. A spring baby. I think 2000? Yes, 2000. 12th of March, 2000. It was at the Stand Comedy Club in Edinburgh, in the back room, which is it's just the dressing room now, but they used to run gigs there 4 or 5 nights a week. Capacity about 75, 76. That's when I did my first...
In the back room?
Well, what is the dressing room now? Was
a gig.
That was a gig. It was like a 70-seater intimate gig. It was brilliant. Yeah, the stage would be about occupy a little bit less space than we're occupying now.
Yeah.
That's that. Yeah. So I did that. And it was a Sunday night, Sean.
It was a Sunday night, and how did you know about the night? How did you know to get involved in this?
I'd been going as a sort of punter, so I went to University of Edinburgh. I would have arrived there in October or something the year before, and so I'd have gone to the Stand lots as a punter, and they also did these workshops, and I was doing we were going to have a sort of showcase gig the next night, but the person who booked, Alan Miller, who booked the open spots, said, "Do you want to do a gig on the Sunday night?" So I said, "Why not?" So I did. So I must have done, what would it have been, 5 minutes or something.
What was the workshop?
It was like a stand up, going on for 2 hours, about 8 or 10 of us. You sort of stand up and run your set in front of a small number of people and critique each other.
Did that make it... Was that in any way helpful? Did that feel like a safety net that you needed?
Well, yeah, I
felt you needed?
I think so. It felt that you would not... It wasn't a total leap in the dark.
Yeah.
You'd not... I mean, for me, that would be a braver way of doing it. It would be like there being a series of platforms along a zip wire where people sort of stop you every now and then. I've got the rope. Yeah. You're swaying backwards and forwards and sideways because you're panicking. So don't do that.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And then there'd be another platform. They don't worry, I've got the rope. Move the mic stand out of the way. Let go or whatever it might be. That made it a bit less...
Your hand is shaking.
They can do something. Maybe just put it in your pocket if you really can't. If it keeps shaking when it's in your pocket, take it out again, obviously, because that looks awful. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it made it a bit less... So I had stood on that very stage in a workshop scenario, but the 8 people that I was used to doing it had been swapped with 70. I won't say strangers, because some of my friends from university were there, but a lot of them would have been strangers.
Okay.
Which is really how an audience should work. Unless you're part of some sort of cult.
Yes. Yeah. And it went well.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I mean, that was I don't know...
How old were you?
20?
Sorry, 20.
I don't know if I'd experienced an adrenaline rush up to that point in my life. Conceivably not. But it was really exciting. I mean, it's unlike, in terms of fear, it's up there, isn't it? It's absolutely terrifying. My friend Ollie said that at the end, the only time I showed my nerves was I sort of got stuck in a kind of loop at the end, like a tech proper catch. Thanks so much. My name is Miles Jupp. This has been my first time. So thank you very much. My name is Miles Jupp. This has been my first time. Thank you very much indeed. My name is, and I was just sort of stuck, like a skipping record. So I don't know how many minutes that went on for.
Yeah.
I lost all sort of temporal sense.
Okay. All right. So we'll go back then. To
11th of March 2000. I think I was getting ready for my gig on the 12th of March. Probably writing a few ideas down, trying to finesse it. Yeah.
Can you remember the set, actually, before we go back to where you grew up?
Yeah, some of it. Oh. It's so long ago. It's so long ago. There would have been some jokes in it about the fact that more people seem to have mobile phones these days.
Oh my God!
That's how long ago it was, in fact, there was a joke that was to do with the statistic about now more people have mobile phones than go to church. I remember that because I'd read that in an article in the newspaper, and I had some silly joke about that.
I remember.
There was a joke actually. I do remember it was to do with the fact that which doesn't really make sense because, of course, you have to pay for a phone, but you can hear God in tunnels. That was my slightly. It was one of those things that you think and say, and then go, I don't even know if or why that's funny. I'll say it.
Yeah,
it might not be.
Well, they enjoyed it.
They said so, but yeah.
And I enjoyed it. So,
well, yeah.
We'll see how
I've dusted that one off. The stats, yeah. If you suddenly did, I don't know. Can't you notice a lot of people have mobile phones these days, don't you? You'd look absolutely demented.
I remember Marcus Brigstock having a line about how people with iPhones were wankers.
Right.
Because it was at the very beginning. So it was obviously, if you had an iPhone, it would have been a kind of symbol of being quite flash, I suppose.
Yeah. Whereas now, if you don't have an iPhone, someone will go, "Oh, so you don't use an iPhone?"
Yeah. Is that Samsung?
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's, what is that? What's that? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it would be strange to think someone with an iPhone was a wanker. That would be, because most people have.
But maybe at the time they were. Maybe it was a completely valid point.
Oh, people are.
And some of the people that have them now, yeah, as you say, are. If we assume that basically everyone has one and some people are wankers, then the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The point still stands, but to less of an extent.
Right. So back. Where's Miles born? Where does he grow up?
I was born.
I am interested. Yeah. I sounded like I was reading.
You sound like a ghostwriter who's got quite a lot on. You're like, oh God, I said I'd write his autobiography as well. Right, I'll do all the questions quickly. Okay, right, yeah. You know, when you're reading a book that has been ghost written, so you know the person's by, but then there's these extra details that you think the person that wrote the book wouldn't have done that. They'll say, "Oh, we played a game in such and such a town," and then it will go, "A beautiful coastal town with a natural harbour." You think, well, I think the ghostwriter's written that bit, haven't they? That's the padding out.
Jordan's not written that. Katie Price has not written that bit.
But I was born in London. I was born in Westminster Children's Hospital. Do you know it? It's not there anymore. And I lived, at the time, my dad was the chaplain of University College London.
Priest?
And yes, he's a clergyman. And
I only know what a chaplain is.
You only know priests. This is a bit weird for you.
I only know what a chaplain is from about 18 months ago, because I put the name chaplain in the hat for my son, and my wife-to-be said no, but because it meant priest.
But how had you spelt it?
Like Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, but that chaplain priest there's an A in it.
I know.
Well, two A's.
But it didn't matter.
2 A's. Oh, I see.
That put
her off.
Didn't matter.
She's anti.
Well, see, I just don't think, for some reason, she's not anti. She just thought it would be like calling a boy priest.
And what else did you put in it? Pope, Keaton,
Bishop. Yeah, so we went with Bishop. Yeah. She was fine with Bishop.
Dalai Lama, Marcel Marceau. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you're right. It's a chaplain. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they moved a few months. This really is sounding like the first chapter of a dashed off.
It's his middle name.
It is his middle name.
It's his middle name.
So she was like, "Oh, that sounds like a priest. That'll go well in the middle." Yeah, but not. You can't. I wouldn't open with it.
Don't open. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to know people quite well.
Cushion it.
Yeah.
Just cushion it a little bit.
It's classic shit sandwich. That's what we want when we're putting together a child's name. Yeah. So that was it, and then he got a job at a church in northwest London.
Okay.
So we lived in what's called a manse, which is the house owned by the church, and that's why which was lovely.
That sounds very nice. Did that give you a sense of, how long was that for?
Lived there for about 9 years, probably 8 or 9 years. But also, when you're young, you sort of assume that most people's experience of life is sort of like yours.
Of course.
This is what it's like for most people, isn't it? So you have literally no sense of the world. Quite a cosseted upbringing. If I'm very honest, or even slightly. But yeah, so my mum was a lawyer, so she'd go out to work, and dad would work, but the work was near, because it was, and he'd sort of put together he'd have to go and he'd have like a little travelling communion kit, like like when the physio runs on. He'd have one of those if he had to go and do a hospital visit.
Yeah.
Something like that. So go, oh, sorry, I've just had a phone call. I've just got to. He'd sort of wave to say, yeah. Someone's someone's taken a bit of a pounding on the 22, so I've got to go. Yeah, there's a little sort of random things I can remember, but I can't. I remember I've got quite a good memory, or I used to. But I'm thinking about the first 9 or 10 years of my life. I really draw quite a lot of blanks. I literally, most people do, because also I didn't develop any of my actual hobbies until much later in life. So I honestly don't know how the time passed.
But your dad is. I mean, I'm sure you've made this comparison yourself, or someone else has at least. That he's got his act. His set.
Yeah, solid 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have a filing cabinet of sermons, and every now and you could get one and sort of dust an old one off, I suppose. Yeah, well, I tell you what it did mean was that every Sunday we'd have to go to church, just as part of childcare.
Yeah,
I suppose. And I was used to seeing him. He would be up at the front leading the service for an hour. So I thought standing up in front of people and talking was a thing that people did, and that most people's dads or mums would be able to do that if they chose to.
Yes, exactly.
I don't remember when that thing about people terrified of public speaking, like a normal person is terrified of public speaking, and so are we, but we do it anyway. Whereas a normal people are like, no, absolutely no, I couldn't sort of bear that. Whereas I thought, that's a thing that people do.
Yes. Right, and so when did it occur to you that perhaps living attached to a church was
unusual?
Unusual.
Well, it was a couple of streets away. We weren't sort of.
I've literally.
Well, some are, yeah,
yes.
but ours wasn't. No, it was nearby, and but I looking back, obviously, it was very unusual. One of the unusual things about it was how sort of. You're outside the church would be the address of where the minister, who's called, our address and phone number would be on a board outside the church. So people that needed help would just come to the house at any time of day or night. So I suddenly had a sort of weird sense of, in retrospect, sort of personal space being sort of, you'd sort of run out of the kitchen into the hall, but there'd be a complete stranger sitting there. Or whatever. It would sort of happen all the time. Or there was a gentleman that occasionally needed to be helped into an ambulance in the middle of the night, and one would get quite used to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe afterwards you're like, oh no, that probably doesn't. That's a bit unusual. I suppose.
You were in Rev, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
So, which is the sitcom that where Tom Hollander plays.
Tom Hollander, yeah.
The priest. So did you recognise any of?
Well, that's a clergyman and a lawyer. That's what Olivia Colman's character is, a lawyer, and he's a clergyman. So that's exactly like my own thing, my own upbringing. So yeah, I goes bits of that where my mum said, "Oh, that's the stuff. The sort of Mant stuff is horrifyingly close to the truth of it." Where there's one person who's really just trying to get on and do stuff that doesn't centre around the church, and then there's someone else who's it's sort of all encompassing, and they're kind of on call.
Yeah, right. But you did.
It's like living with a paramedic who's always on shift, sort of thing. You can go any time. Yeah. Well, slightly different jobs, obviously, uniform wise, colouring, black, not green.
Did But you still haven't said when it kind of might have occurred to you that it was unusual. I think I think for me, when someone's parent is a priest, or even it's something like a teacher. There's something where suddenly someone's parent's job becomes kind of strange.
Yeah. Someone who can sign the back of a passport, saying that it's your likeness. You're like a sort of proper grown up. I don't know. I remember when I was 14 at school, I don't know if I was telling a story or something, and I said to someone else. So I have an older brother, and I said to someone who I really didn't know at all, because my dad's, and he went, "Yeah, I know what your dad does." And I thought, how would you know that? It must be unusual for you to know that, but it could have just been a sort of classic power play. I've got my own to the ground. I know what's going on. I'm 14, but I've got my informers.
I love that. That's
We put a wire up. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you actually have that. That memory. It's actually a significant little memory of someone saying, "I know what your dad does," and that being the time that you.
You're like, oh yeah,
Oh, that's odd.
because I didn't know what his dad did, and I didn't even ask. Could not have been less interested.
All right, quick break to tell you about something which has made my life so much less stressful. You guys know I've got 2 kids, and recently we decided it was time to sort out their rooms properly, which meant getting wardrobes built and stuff like that. Sounds simple, but between school runs, shows, and just trying to keep the house from falling apart, it was one of those jobs that was added to a never-ending to-do list. So I finally did something about it. And what I mean by that is I booked a tasker through TaskRabbit. I picked a time that actually worked with our schedule, and within days it was handled. The wardrobes were built, everything was sorted, and suddenly the kids' rooms actually felt functional, which meant a lot less chaos for all of us. That's the thing I like about TaskRabbit. It takes those jobs that feel impossible when you're already stretched thin and turns them into something you can just get done. TaskRabbit is an online and mobile marketplace that connects you with skilled local freelancers called taskers who can help with things like home repairs, mounting, moving, furniture assembly and more. You can search by price, availability and reviews so you know exactly who you're booking. The numbers speak for themselves. Taskers have assembled over 3.4 million pieces of furniture, completed more than 700,000 home repairs, and handled over 1.5 million moves. I use TaskRabbit, and I genuinely recommend you give it a try, especially if your to-do list is starting to feel unmanageable. Get ahead of your to-do list with £10 off your first task at taskrabbit.co.uk or on the TaskRabbit app using promo code ClassClown. Taskers across the UK book up fast, especially for same-day tasks. So get £10 off your first task right now with promo code ClassClown at taskrabbit.co.uk or with the TaskRabbit app. That's taskrabbit.co.uk, code ClassClown. Terms and conditions apply. Sorry to interrupt, just to let you know, I am on tour at the moment and you can get tickets to see me live on my This Is Torture tour. You can get tickets at SeannWalsh.com. I'm all over England and Wales. Hit the link in the bio and I'll see you there. So you said you had a brother. How many?
He's 3 years older than me. Well, it's 2 of us, yeah.
It's just the 2 of you?
Just the 2 of us, like the song, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people stop at 2, because of the...
Yeah, they do.
Because of the song.
And they don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
So you have the older brother age gap of 3. What does having an older... I suppose you don't know it any other way, of course, but...
But what does it mean?
Well, what's the effects of that, I suppose?
Well, I suppose everything... They have it harder, I think, an older sibling, you know, things that they battle for, and if they battle for successfully, then you get sort of by right, I suppose, they kind of everything that's, you know, when you have a second child, you know, you've learnt a lot with the first one.
Yes.
And you're able to put that, ideally able to put that into practice. And unfortunately, some of that, I suppose, as a parent, you're like, God, we mustn't make that mistake. But then you think, but we mustn't tell the first one it was a mistake or whatever it must be. We mustn't do that thing that we said. Yeah, no, we got that really badly wrong. You know, whatever it might have been. So yeah, I think you can be sort of naughtier, and if there's trouble as well, it's the older child that gets told off.
Why is that?
I guess
was the older child. I don't.
You must have been told off.
I was told off
a lot. Oh my God! And it's not stopped really.
No.
No. If you're the older child, then yeah, I think like if there's a fight, well then like the bigger person gets told off first, don't they?
Right. Yes.
Like if someone's hitting someone else with a scaffolding pole, I think when the police arrive, the first thing they do. They don't go, well, what are you two doing? What have you done to make him hit you with a scaffolding pole? They try, and this is a slightly extreme example, but I think they stop the person with the scaffolding pole first, and that's just a sort of it's obviously human instinct.
Yes. Okay.
But the person who's being hit might have behaved appallingly. But of course, it might be. But I'm not saying anyone deserves that. Well. To be clear, just so we've got that. To be clear, but also, I mean the point in general.
Yeah.
Not, you know, there are people we both know who, well, anyway. Yeah.
So, but did it help to have an older brother, Guy. Was he of some guidance to you?
It's not like a sort of bird teaching their young how to sort of catch worms or whatever. But you've got, I suppose he got into stuff. So he's really into music and stuff. And I must have thought, he's really got hobbies. He's got stuff that he's sort of passionate about. At a time when I didn't, so if we went into let's say a bookshop or whatever, we moved to the East Midlands when I was older. If we, gone into a bookshop, he'd immediately go to the bit that was like with music books or whatever, where I'd think, what's my bit? Until I had any interest.
Right. When did you move to the East Midlands?
When we, about 1990, so I'd have been 11. So we moved. So I've lived in a city.
Secondary schools about to begin.
Yeah. I mean, I went to a boarding school from the age of 9.
Did you know you were going? I always wonder this with people.
Why have they packed all my stuff? Where are we going? Why?
But was this something you were mentally prepared for? Were you told, and you're going to, and when you're 9, we're going to ship you off, or is it just pop downstairs, Miles? Would you come down here, please? Bye.
Yeah. Quite quickly with all your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not all of it. There won't be room. Just pack a spare pair of pants and a Bible. The old trunks. Yeah. Love you. See you at Easter. I mean, it would be lovely to moan about it, which I can do at length. But in terms of my parents, my brother and I don't know. There was something that we'd read or watched, but we honestly spent a serious amount of time telling our parents that what we really wanted to do, that we really wanted to go to a boarding school.
What?
Now, which for them, I don't know, and I don't know what that thing was. For them, obviously, that's just quite a bad review. To say to the two people that are bringing you up, I know that I'm 9, but I would like to be somewhere else.
I've got to get out here.
That's awful. This is
driving me nuts.
I know there's a whole world out there. I just want to expand my horizons. So we spent ages telling them, as I recall, that's what we really, really wanted to do. And I don't know what this thing was that we'd seen or read. I can't think. It must have been viewed through quite rose-tinted spectacles, whatever it was. It can't have been a completely balanced account. It won't have been an episode of Dispatches. But we told them that's what we wanted to do. And then one day, one of us will have brought this up. It was in a car. We were in a car going somewhere, not to the school, but we were going somewhere. And one of us brought this, bloody thing up that we kept going on about. And they said, well, actually, seeing as you mention it, we've decided that's what you're going to do. And then we both went, what? And were in floods of tears going, how could you do this to us? And I think they must have been thinking, what are we? I mean,
we can't do anything right.
Yeah. Which, once you're a parent, you're like, oh, no, you can't. Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Right, so
lesson learned. Yeah. So I went away, Ed would have been... my older brother would have been...
12. He's 12, you're 9.
Yeah.
Right, boarding school. Tell me about boarding school, please.
I mean, you're just...
Who else was I talking to? Al Murray went to boarding school.
Al Murray? Yeah.
Boarding school as well. He said he kind of towards the end of it, he really enjoyed it, and we seemed to avoid the beginning of it.
Yeah. Oh, that was right. Were you working backwards on his podcast as well? Or?
It's the same structure.
Yeah. Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't mention Memento.
No. So it didn't. Yeah. So he must have wondered why you were doing it. Whereas to me, it all makes perfect sense. Or will at the end. Have you worked with Guy Pearce?
No.
Yeah. Nice. So anyway, I went to.
What worked with Guy Pearce on?
About 18 or 19 years ago, a film about Harry Houdini, in which I played a Scottish ventriloquist.
Oh.
I mean,
I missed that one.
You were not alone. Anyway, and when I say nice, he said hello when I was reaching for some food at the read-through.
Well, it's always nice when someone famous says hello. And
normally doesn't lash out.
Yeah. Well, normally you hear a story and they go, he was really nice.
And I was
what did he do? He just said hello. Right. That's all that is. Yeah, that's the tip. I thought the funny bit would be saying if you met him and then moving on. I wasn't. It doesn't stand up to any scrutiny. But what is it like? Well,
I had this thing that was quite lucky when it wasn't until I'd left that I went, that was really weird. But I had 10 years of it before and then I realised, that is really weird. That's really weird. And my brother and I, we realised that we could, we've been talking about it in our early 20s, and we could remember our timetable from like 15 years previously or something. At the school I went to when I was 9, I mean, you were timetabled from basically 7 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night, and then there'd be a sort of lights out time. And it might as well have been the 1950s. It was very old fashioned sort of place. I remember you had to bring slippers with you because you would get splinters on the sort of dormitory floors that were kind of old wooden floorboards, and there weren't, there were a few rugs in little places, but it was like, and it was painted in this kind of.
Surely you would have brought slippers anyway, Miles.
I don't know if it would have occurred to me. I don't know if I would have.
I'm a big fan.
Big fan of slippers.
Yeah. Always have been.
As a child,
always will be.
Always will be. Well, got to die on that hill now. One day you'll go to a trampoline park and you'll have to pay £4 for the grippy socks, and then you'll think, oh, these are what I've been looking for all my life. And then you'll be like, oh no, but I bloody said, I've made this bed.
Right. The floorboards.
The floorboards, splinters. Yeah. So honestly, there was a risk of splinters, and it was. I mean, it's in the 80s, and people could still be not caned, but could be if they misbehaved, they could be sent to the headmaster's study. I feel like I'm 97 telling you this.
Yeah.
But they could be sent to the headmaster's study and be hit with a slipper or a hairbrush or something.
Oh, this will explain why you're not as excited about slippers as I am.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. It actually never happened to me. But I do think that sounds mad that was the case.
What would that happen for?
Well, I can't imagine what sort of scale of naughtiness people would have been capable of.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it would have been for, in retrospect, really not much, presumably. I mean, it can't have been for sort of, I don't know what you'd have to have done. I mean, what the potential could do. If you're very naughty, you could go into town with money that you'd brought in and go to a sweet shop, which is really illegal within the school rules. And it's I suppose now you think, oh, that's really dangerous. Is it going out into a town when you're an unaccompanied 9-year-old or whatever it might be into a town in which you never normally venture? You don't know anything about it.
Depends on the town, but yes.
Yeah, yes, correct. Well, this was Windsor, mate, so it was terrifying. Yeah, but that I do now. I mean, that seems bad. And then that stopped actually, because of an article in the Daily Mail. And
some good.
Some good. Yeah. Well, their investigative record, etc. Very impressive. But that's to me is sort of mad. And you would be fully timetabled. There was a thing in the afternoon so it was a choir school. So about a quarter of the people in the school were the choristers that would sing in the chapel in Windsor Castle. And so they only had one afternoon off a week. These people who were 9 to 13, they would learn 2 or 3 new pieces of music every day and then perform them in the chapel that night. I mean, some of them would go on to incredible music careers, and some of them would be burnt out by the age of about 12 or 13. Also, they had to sing basically by candlelight. So they all wore really thick glasses by the age of about 11. It was extraordinary. But they would be, they would go and record an album with the MI or something like that when they're like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad. But it was, yeah. So that is, I mean, that's.
But what were you doing then? If they were
I must have just been sort of wandering about. There was a period between 5 and 6 when the choristers, they would be singing in the chapel up in the castle, and it was called UTD, which just meant useful to do, and you had to find something useful to do for an hour. I mean, really, that structure, timetable invented by someone in an absolute panic.
Yeah.
Just find something useful to do. Just anything. Just find something useful to do. Sort of thing really stressed parent would shout.
Yes.
That's enough. Yeah. Honestly, that's enough Minecraft. Just do something useful. Find anything and fold it.
And did you find UTD?
It sounds like sort of like an
STI.
STD. Does it STI?
STD. Yeah.
I don't know.
UTI.
You'd practice an instrument, or you're allowed to. I mean, useful to do could have meant playing cricket in the yard.
Okay.
Or football.
Which isn't useful, is it?
Well, it's outdoors. It's exercise.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Learning to watch the ball as it comes out the bowler's hand. That sort of thing. Reading the bounce. Yeah.
Could be. Okay. Yes, that could be.
It's not not a transferable skill. But I mean,
unless you become a cricketer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But I would say, honestly, I honestly don't know how time passed. Really, and I wasn't interested in performing, for instance, at that age at all. You would be in the school play because you were told that you were in it, and then
and how was
you'd
that?
do it.
Well, how was that then? When you did it, was it then attractive?
No, you just did it because that's what you were sort of doing. Honestly, I mean, I must have been kind of all right about sort of lots of what are we doing next? You know, you're in a life where sort of all decisions are being made for you. It's quite relaxing in retrospect.
Yes.
I'm not sure when you exercised any choice or anything like that at any point. It was just I suppose the point of it.
Oh, God,
so I had no.
Lovely.
It does now, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely.
You know, like if you go on a holiday with someone decisive, and you think, oh, and they said what we're doing today is, and you're not sort of Googling or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
You sort of have a cup of coffee and they go, right, zip wire or whatever. Oh, great.
Yeah.
But that was not one of the activities on offer. No. So I did a gig on a tour last year or the year before in Salisbury, and some people from that school were there, and we'd gone for a drink afterwards, and they said, when did you get into all this? And I said, well, I've always. And they went, no, you haven't. You weren't into this at all. And we at school. I was like, oh yeah, I'd completely forgotten this about it. I had no interest in it until I was about 14 or 15, probably.
Oh, okay. So what happened then?
Well, I went to a different school when I was 14, and that
still boarding.
Yeah, but really close to where my parents lived, oddly, so I could go home really quite often.
What's that called again? When you could go home, a dayer or something.
Oh no, I did, but you'd have like a day boy.
A day boy.
Or a day girl, or boarder. Boarder is a general gender neutral term. Day boy and day girl, less so.
Okay.
So I would go.
I'd
see that. I'm just, isn't this how this works?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you say stuff and
we don't want you to get cancelled.
They edit it down, and then bits that work or are interesting enough sort of stay in, and the other bits go on Patreon. Is it?
Yeah.
So is that how it works?
Yeah.
But there, I was interested in cricket, so I had basically one interest. But there was a sort of school theatre, and they would have a sort of show every term. And at the end of my first year at that school, a friend of mine was helping out, like backstage, and putting props and stuff like that. And he said it's really fun. And another friend of mine was in the band, very very gifted musician. And they said, "Oh, it's really fun. Come and do it." So I did, and then I thought, "Oh, next time they do one of these, I'd like to be in it." And that was the first sort of flicker.
Oh, when they said come along, they just meant watch?
No, they meant come along and do the sort of backstage thing. It's a really nice bunch of people, and it's quite fun and exciting. It was Little Shop of Horrors. And so I was, okay, so whatever was backstage, setting props and stuff like that. And then I suppose I must have looked at the people on stage and thought, oh, that looks really fun. So the next thing, time there was a play on, I sort of asked if I could be in it.
And what was it?
It was either
your stage debut.
It was either As You Like It, the Shakespeare play, or Much Ado About Nothing, the Shakespeare play. One of them. They were both on, and I can't remember because in both of them I played the character Second Lord, who I think are written as different people, but I played them very much the same person. So yeah, by then I'd have been about 15 probably.
And then it was a success in terms of you.
I think it transferred to London. Quite a small theatre at first, but of course word of mouth really, really helped, and eventually it moved into one of the bigger West End venues. And then of course the Americans got involved, and it was on Broadway for 4 years. But I mean, by that time I was well into adulthood.
And the film was fantastic.
They recast the film, but we were all given we were all given small parts in it. It's the way it works. It was.
I suppose what I meant.
I have no idea what the audience made of it. Literally no idea.
What I mean, so I no, that's me not being clear. But what I meant is that the success was you enjoying it enough.
I see.
So I wasn't clear
by that metric. Yeah, it was tremendously successful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. As if I liked it is the thing that you want to hear in any kind of. As any kind of feedback.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, but you didn't have to watch it. Yeah.
So you've kind of been bitten by the bug at this point now. So you've done Shakespeare. It was fun.
Yeah, but then I tell you what we did. We did a play in which we didn't. It wasn't very long to rehearse. It was like, so in a school like that, you're divided up into sort of houses, which is like where your sort of form, as in.
But these are figurative houses. They're not literal.
They're literal buildings. The buildings where you sleep, and they'd be like.
So it is like Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's more realistic, but yeah, it's like Harry Potter, and much less impressive architecture, and but you'd be there. So your house, and then I was in a boy's house, and then you'd be paired with a girl's house and do a play together. And we did a play together. We didn't have very long to rehearse it. I remember the scripts hadn't arrived when we first started rehearsing it, and it was all put on. And lots of things went wrong, and for whatever reason, I thought I'm just gonna try and fill in the blanks myself, and just sort of really messed around and was a bit sort of naughty and silly and did loads of ad-libbing, and it was really the sort of stuff that now I would find unbearable. Unbearable. As an audience member, to be in it, unacceptable. I mean, I would be livid. But just loads and loads of dicking around, and it must have seemed quite, I don't know, it went sort of all right, but that was really fun, actually. That was really fun, and it was just silly.
You've reminded me of something in terms of improvising,
yeah,
and that being unbearable. Have you seen the Steve Jobs movie with Michael Fassbender?
Has that got improvising in it?
We
don't really know what Steve Jobs was like, so we've written the other bits of the film. Anyway, we've got someone to play Steve, but Steve, you just go and just fill in the spaces.
There's a moment where
doors will open, people come in, you give them names, say who they are.
Yeah.
Here's Sheila, she's our new head of HR, and then or whatever it might be. Is that what the film's like?
No, there's a bit where Mike they're always really. Well, I only saw it once, but every time I think of it, it annoys me. Or whenever anyone mentions improvisation, this comes to mind, and it's when Kate Winslet and Michael Fassbender are walking down quite a short staircase, and Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs slid down the banisters, and I thought, there's no way that's in the script. There's no way that it's in the script that he slid down the banisters.
But do you know that?
No, I don't know that, Miles.
Because there's sometimes there's a thing where like there's a script and but you do improvise, and then there's sometimes a thing where like one person's improvising. And you think, well, how's this going to work? What's the vibe? Here, thick of it, there's a really good script, and then you read it through once, and they put it down, and then they go, right, now do the bits you can remember from that, and we'll do the scene, and here are the points you had to get to. These are the beats that you have to hit, and so improvising is part of it. But you can be in a thing where no one's mentioned improvising, and then someone's improvising, and you think,
that would drive me insane.
We just ran the lines 10 minutes ago. If the director says, guys, loosen it up a bit, any extra thoughts, most welcome. But like they're saying action, and what are you doing? The job, like the contract says to perform as directed, and then you're doing all this stuff. Just do as you're asked.
Oh, can you give us a name so the clip can go viral, please? No. Good thinking. So where are we? Yes. So all right. So you've had to improvise in the gap.
I didn't have to, but I chose to.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was really fun, and I for whatever reason, and I must have found that a bit sort of addictive. It's also that thing of finding something you're good at, or that I felt that I was good at the time. Like my favourite thing from the age of 11 was cricket, which we don't have to talk about.
Please.
But I was not good at it, but I really liked it. And then something comes along that I like and I felt that I could do, and that's really that was sort of exciting.
Was there nothing?
And I 15 years had gone by this point.
to find something that you were enjoying and were good at was
But also had the opportunity to do. You know, there'd be a play on every term, really. So from that point on until I was made to stop doing them towards A levels, I would be in a thing every term or whatever.
So was there no encouragement from anywhere to go and, you know, oh, Miles, you're good at this. You should concentrate on this. Before that, was there any subjects that stood out for you that wasn't cricket? Because we don't want to talk about cricket.
Well, I did sort of all right at most things, but you know, in that sort of environment, there's just so many hours go into it. It's a sort of sausage factory. You know, you're just you just do it. So you do. You know, I've got an GCSEs in things that I know nothing about and have no passion in, but I've got quite a good. You know, I don't know anything about science, but I've got a science GCSE A grade or whatever. I just don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Geography, I don't know where anything is unless I've been there and had to look on a map. I don't.
I think I remember talking to you, but you were acting in something, and I think you had just kind of forgotten what country you're in at some point.
I do remember once, lying in bed and thinking, where am I? And it wasn't the city; it was the country. It was like something with a slightly mad schedule. Yeah. I'm just thinking, and it's like, you know, when you're ordering a taxi in a strange house and whatever, and you're like, oh, is there a mail on the, you know, you've been to a house party or something, and you're like, maybe there's an envelope in the hall because I don't know where I. Yeah, absolutely exhausting. So I've got quite a bad sense of geography, but you just do the, you know, it's all part of the kind of the production line, turning out sort of identikit people that are capable of doing, I don't know, being lawyers or.
Well, that
whatever.
What was kind of. Was there an expectation of the pupils in your boarding school?
Yeah. They
go and run the country.
No, it wasn't that sort of place, but it was. You know, everything's measured, so there's league tables and that sort of thing. So you need to get good A levels, and you need to go to a good university, which I was sort of on board with in the sense that I thought that's how you became a comedian. The comedians I liked all seemed to have gone to like particular universities or whatever, and I couldn't really think of a way of doing that without that sort of structure. But then you're so institutionalized, can't really think of any sort of other structure or whatever. So the comics that I liked, I would read, oh, they'd met at university or whatever. So you think, so that's what you do. That's how you become it. I didn't really know another way of doing it.
Like the footlights?
Yeah. So someone like so like Brian Laurie or people like that.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that must be how you. I didn't know another way, and obviously that was, you know, they would have come from similar backgrounds. So you think, oh, this must be the way that people become. I didn't even really know what sort of drama school was. I don't think until I was sort of been older. But because I don't know. I wanted to be a comedian from.
Yeah. So when's that?
From about 15 or 16, probably. And I don't know if I'd have voiced that out loud immediately. I mean, that seems a bit.
But where does it stem? Does it stem from the plays and the laughter that was coming from the plays?
Yeah, and I guess I quite like just generally being sort of silly, funny, but I wouldn't have thought about marrying that with a sort of professional environment.
Yeah.
When I was much younger, my friend Leo said that he thought I was funny. I was about 10 or 11. And it had not occurred to me. And he said, oh, I think it was either saying to me or to someone else. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that about myself. You know.
I love that you give like two flippant comments that have actually stuck and then almost kind of changed.
And maybe it was just being polite or. Yeah, I don't know. But
well, you know, I know what your dad does, and that's stuck with you. And
I see what you mean.
Unusual.
Yeah,
and well, other voices, you're quite funny, and instead of that just being that going over your head, that staying with you is kind of significant. Oh, right.
He has set me on a path.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I must not let him down.
Yeah.
I must take this and go with it as far as I can.
Exactly.
Because he knows me better than I know myself. Clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the Apex? Seann Walsh's podcast. He'll be proud.
He will listen, or maybe he's one of the people that watches it.
They're TV shows now, Miles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
people want to watch these things.
Yeah, no, I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Right, so the laughter in so Leo says you're funny. They're laughing in your performances on stage in Shakespeare.
Well, not maybe in Shakespeare. It was a different play. It was a different.
Which play was it?
It was called The Best Days of Our Lives or something, which is about a school where it's a school where
who's it by? I won't know.
I can't remember. I'm afraid this is
fine.
Terrible. The school is a girls' school is evacuated, so they have to move in to a boys' school, or Happiest Days of Our Lives, something like that. Quite an old-fashioned sort of play. And so maybe because I think my character was a headmaster, so I must have been on stage a lot. So I had sort of in the part I had to was meant to take charge a bit.
Yeah.
Clearly not to the extent that I did, but then I got really into it. But do you know what? I reckon if I'd got sort of really into acting. And I was really into it, but if I was an absolute sort of purist about that, and I'd said to those sorts of schools, it's like, you go and visit, like there's someone in charge of careers who's got an office, and you go and see them, and they sort of go, now, what have you thought about doing, young fellow? Would you like to be a doctor or a lawyer or a traffic policeman or a PE teacher? And I, you'd go to that, and of course, if I'd said, I want to be a barrister or whatever, they'd gone, right, well, what you do is there's a plan for this. There we go, take it out the drawer, there you are, that's how to become whereas if I said, I would like to be a comedian, they'd go, it's not in the, like a scroll down menu and the thing you do is not on it.
Yeah.
What am I, it's not there.
Yes.
I've effectively gone into the careers office and said other, and they've gone, oh, can you fill in the box? That's sort of what's happened. So then, whereas if I'd said I'd like to be an actor, they'd have said, a number of actors have been to this school, and what you must do is this. Whereas I wanted to do something sort of slightly different to that, and there wasn't a roadmap. Yeah. And it was sort of greeted with, you can't really do that. It's not really a thing, is it? What's happened there? So you've come in suggesting that you do it. There's not really one of our. No, you're in the wrong.
Miles, that's a waste of this. All of these people that have come in to this school, and you want to be a comedian, which is a way anyone could do that.
Yeah.
This is a waste of
this
building.
Yes. Essentially, that's what you could be a doctor.
Yeah.
You could be a lawyer. Why would you? You could be in the armed forces. Why would you just sort of want to? You just sort of want to sort of float about making remarks. You want to a bunch of you sit in a row, and then someone has like an idea that they put quite a lot of effort into, and then you want to watch a sort of wryly undercut it at the end and take the laugh. that is, and I, quite a lot of warmongers have been to this school, but that's the most mercenary thing I've heard. And that's sort of what you're saying, isn't it? You want to watch someone do a proper job and then say, I don't think they're very good, essentially, which is what most topical comedy is. That's what you want to do, is it? That's what you want to wait until other people have achieved stuff and then deride it. Or you want to notice things. I'm not that sort of comedian, mercifully, but you want to notice stuff and then repeat it back to people or whatever. So
yes,
there's
I do.
Yeah, you're so. I never notice anything, and you'll do like a thing about like that thing that you used to about people standing on the bus or whatever and being hit by the springy handle. And I think, I have noticed that. It would never occur to me that was amusing. I thought it was annoying. But it's not. It's really funny. But it hasn't occurred to me that it hasn't. I just don't know. That sort of thing. So I guess in that point you're like, you might as well be saying I'm a troublemaker.
Yeah.
If I'd gone in and said I would like to be a farmer, they'd have gone, right. There's okay. We've got a route map for that.
Yes.
Yeah. I could have gone in there and said almost anything, and they would have said, yes, well, what you need to do is go to, the University of Kiel and study such and such or whatever. But they were like, well,
But to be clear, you didn't do this. There wasn't a conversation where you said, I would like to be a comedian.
No, there was, yeah. I would say it to you'd have a sort of tutor, he was called, like a tutor. I mean, there must be the equivalent of things, I just don't know what they are. But and they'd say, what do you really want? And it would be sort of, what would you like to do? And you say, I'd like to do this. And what do you really want to do? And then kind of, you can't really do that. I had a teacher who was like, yeah, that's not really you see, the people who do that are very, very talented, and it's very difficult, and it's can't really do that. And you just can't really do that, and that unless I'm sort of eliding a number of different instances. But that definitely a teacher who said you can't do that was then in the audience at a conference or something when I was doing the after dinner speech. And I don't go to the dinner. I was sort of sitting in a dressing room reading or pacing up and down. And he knocked on the door, and I said, "Oh, come in and have a chat." And he said, "Are you around afterwards? Do you want to go for a drink?" And I said, "I've got to go straight away because I'm hosting. Have I got news for you tomorrow? So I've got to be in London really early." And he went, "Oh, right, great." And then afterwards, I was really thinking, "You said I couldn't do this."
But
I only sort of thought about it afterwards, so I didn't go, let me tell you why we are not going to be hanging out, Buster. Because, do you remember? Because he'd be like, "Well, no, I must have had hundreds of thousands of conversations. Maybe many of them are extremely grateful." He was the person that pointed out, actually, I would be a better vet than I would be a doctor, or whatever it might be. But, of course, because the little things stick in one's head in the way that sort of big things, little, it's the sort of power of words, I suppose, but a tiny phrase can stick in your, stick into you like a needle and just stay there forever, like a sort of, the things that you in the middle of the night, oh, goodness, all of those sorts of things. Whereas someone can say, "Well, I went out with, do you remember when I was going out with Helen?" "No, I'm sorry, I don't." For 3 years. When was this? Helen, I'm so sorry. It's not. I saw I was at someone's house recently. They were talking about the wedding, and I said, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm really sorry we couldn't come to that." And they went,
"Oh no!"
Well, out came the photos.
I had it in this very building last
Really?
week when I met a friend of a friend and said, "Sorry, we've not actually met in real life." And they said, "We have. We met at our friend's wedding and we sat next to each other for the day." That's the end of part 1 with Miles Jupp. If you want to hear part 2 instantly, you can. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/classclown or just tap the link in the episode description. It will be on your phone right there. And that will take you to part 2, where we also have some exclusive content with Miles. Have a little chat afterwards, which you can't hear anywhere else. So go to patreon.com/classclown and I'll see you next week.